take me back to the first time you ever heard about Reiki and what made you interested in getting a session.
Wow. First time I ever heard about Reiki was 5 years ago. I've heard of it. It's just a alternative. I at that time I thought that I needed like therapy, and I actually went to a therapist appointment and I walked in
Mhm.
there and sat and talked to one, and I didn't feel like I fit in there. Like it completely, and he even told me that. The
Oh
therapist
wow.
told me that you don't belong in here.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, but how do I deal with what I'm feeling? Because I don't
Yeah.
have anybody to talk to. Like, this is not something that feels right. I feel like something's wrong still. And I need someone to talk to. And it wasn't the right fit. And I'm very thankful to that therapist for actually being honest with me, telling me I didn't belong there. So I did my homework and I jumped on,
Oh
yep,
yeah. Tell
Google.
people, what maybe you can also advise people on their healing journey on what to look for when looking for a practitioner and like why you did such diligent work with that too.
Well, because I figured, this is something that's totally not covered by your medical.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, it's not covered by your medical right
Right.
now. But I, when I sought you out, you came up very high on the Yelp search. Uh, but I did my research. I read up on your website who you were, what you've done previously, and I was amazed by all of the things that you've accomplished. So that spoke a lot to me as far as, you're not just one dimensional. You're not just
Hmm.
one Reiki healer. You've done many things in your life and you've accomplished many things. So I was very intrigued. And just reading all your stuff, I saw that you were also published.
Hmm.
So I read up on that. And once I read up on your story, like I went straight out, bought the book off Amazon and did my
Right.
homework, like due diligence, like seriously read up on you before I had my appointment.
So you read up
And
on basically my why, my healing
yeah,
journey, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I completely understood it. Like I said, just coming out of a therapy session, I didn't think that it didn't work with me. And it really felt like this is somebody who's going to understand, the mind over matter thing completely.
Yeah.
What I wanted, what I needed at that time to get
Yeah.
me over what I needed to get over. And so that introduced me to Reiki. The first time I sat in your chair, and I didn't know what to expect at all. Um,
Yeah.
but it was everything that I was looking for after, like what I needed from therapy and what I didn't get. And it's like just walking into like absolute exception, like accepting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it um that feeling, like it was good. Like I walked out of there, I could actually hold my head up and feel better about, and felt okay with what I was dealing with. And um
Yeah.
it helped
Was it more
tremendously.
of an energy shift? Was it something that I said or that we talked about? Like
Yeah, it
what do
was
you
like
think?
it was an energy shift.
Mm,
You finally uh made me realize like a lot of the things that was going on around me was the things that I didn't have to deal with. You gave me more of a voice, you gave me more
mhm.
confidence back, and I was able to in the time since, I've been able to really separate my own feelings by what's going on and understand myself so much more when I
Yeah.
deal with life, not just people who are closest to me, but people that I newly meet or anything. I feel prepared to deal with anybody or any situation that comes to me
Hmm.
because I understand energy work now.
Yeah.
So,
And what else about the life coaching was helpful for you?
oh, um, well, major breakthroughs. It made
Right.
me realize why I love Reiki so much.
Hmm.
And people who are like me that need help.
Yeah.
I'm in a generation where I'm stuck between immigrant parents and accepting their old way of life and blending in the new American way, and still trying to figure it out because it's ever so evolving, and trying to blend those two worlds together to find a happy medium between my parents and the
Well,
old.
pleasing them and being who you really want to be.
Yeah, and it's been hard. Like I
Yeah.
didn't realize that I spent whew, nearly 35 plus years of my life.
Mhm.
I felt like contained, and I
Yeah.
think at that point where I was in my life, it exploded because you're never taught to enjoy and to be happy
Hmm.
completely. Like you always feel like you have to hold back on something, you have to be reserved, and it's not that. I believe that everybody should feel and feel their emotions no matter what it is. You have to feel it, not bottle up and keep it in there. But Reiki really helped me get through it, and life coaching made me realize that I can help so much people that are stuck like me and
Right.
in this generation, um, bridging that gap. No matter how old you are, we're all children at one point, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
inner children in us that are not, our needs weren't met, or
Yeah.
we have a lot of questions still.
So tell me more about your background with working with kids. Like, so what have you done, and how you've seen how Reiki and like just holding space and coaching can help parents and kids.
I started babysitting from, gosh, I would say right now it's about 18 years.
Okay.
Um, Babysitting. I've had all children's from all walks of life, special needs children.
Mhm.
I've had twins, boys and girls, siblings. So I've seen it all, and blended. I've had different parents bring kids to me at once. So, we've had like a little family and playtime together with just a different bunch of kids all the time. And some kids only came on certain days. So
Right.
the challenge I had with that was to be able to keep harmony with all of these different moving parts
Right.
in the house, but to also meet every kid's individual needs to make them feel seen.
Yeah.
Um, I
After you learned Reiki and coaching, what like where was your mind as like, oh, how this can help
oh my mind
families and kids?
my mind was always on, yes, like making the parents realize that it's healthy for kids to feel their emotions and learn about it, and to know that it's okay and how to deal with it, how to manage their emotions. Um, Growing up, I felt things like, you can't cry, don't cry. What are you crying for? And it's fine. That's a normal, legitimate emotion to feel. Crying is a reaction to anger or sadness. And if you're feeling that, let's talk about it. Don't shove down that emotion. Tell me why you feel that way. Maybe we can explore that better. And once I started doing that with the kids, like
Yeah.
that different approach, the parents would get the frustration. So the kids on weekends, sometimes I don't see them. Of course, they go home to their family. So what was really amazing to me, how the parents would reach out to me on the weekends and say,
Right.
hey, this is going on with my kid, like what should I do, what do you think? And I was like, wow. And that's something I don't take too lightly. That's something this is their family time, and I could tell, like, and when I would like decipher what the
Mhm.
kid is feeling, and explain it to the parent, they tried a different approach, and it was much better for them. Like they realized, like, wow, yeah, I have to let them do this, I have to let them, they need
It's
this.
almost like Reiki and coaching, that background has helped you be a better, almost like translator
Yes,
between a
yes,
kid and what their needs are and explaining to the parents. And you're not telling anyone how to parent,
yeah, it's
but
not
it's giving them a different way to look at it and
correct,
connect with their kid more.
correct,
Right. So
correct.
that's been a really positive benefit for you
Yes,
with Reiki and coaching, is really helping the parents and the kids like better
yes,
communicate, better understand what their needs are, um, and shifting their perspective on maybe like what society is expecting this kid to be, and telling the parent, forget all those rules. Like, look at what works best for your kid and your family, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And so, what in the future, what are you hoping to do with your healing work? Like, what most excites you about the people you want to work with in the future?
Families. I love working with families because I see a lot of things, that can help them, and not just one child. It helps all of them, and it helps the generations after.
Yeah.
The things that, the parents, they realize it's like, it's not just them and how they got it. It helps because they realize that their parents put,
Right.
So I love being able to see that, and how it almost pays its way forward. Like I can see parent interacting with their parent better, and I see parent acting better with their child, and I
Right.
can also see that later on down the road, this child, when they become a parent, they're going to realize the things that they learned, and it's going to be better. It's a better environment for learning and loving and being accepted.
Is really like healing, I don't want to just say generational trauma, but just like healing negative patterns that were just like passed down,
Yes,
and not it doesn't work anymore.
right.
And
I also like,
oh,
I'm a big believer that there's nothing wrong. People only know what they know.
yeah.
Um,
So
yeah.
if you teach them or show them something different, and this is what works better for their family now,
Yeah,
like, okay, just because dad said this to you when you're small, like this is not the way the whole world has to be.
right,
Right? Or
right,
the way your parents viewed money, the way your parents viewed time, the
right.
way your parents viewed, what they thought you needed, right? Because we
Mhm.
always talk about generations before, they were very much focused on like basic needs
Right.
and the root chakra. So if I get my kid, roof over their head, food on the table, they can afford their school stuff, I can even help with college. Hey, that was a win,
Oh yeah,
right? In the generation
they've
before ours,
exceeded
that's a
what
win.
they've exceeded what they were able to
Right.
get from their parents. So it's like, I've made it, I've done it.
Right. And we always say like they maybe weren't focused on your emotional needs at all. They didn't
Absolutely.
care about your emotions. They cared about your basic needs getting met.
Right.
And we see now in society, kids definitely you can't ignore their emotions. I mean, they need, like you said, they need to learn how to feel their emotions, let it come up, and then
Right.
find positive ways to shift that energy. Because if they don't, we see they hold it in and bottle it inside, the options are it's going to turn into dis-ease at some
Yes.
point in their life,
Yes.
or it's going to come out as anger, rage, and violence. A lot of
Exactly.
times we see that in men, not only
Yes.
men, but we see that a lot in our society because boys weren't taught to express themselves in a safe place. They were said, oh, be a man, or don't cry, or whatever someone told them. And
Right.
now they just bottle it up. And, you've worked with a lot of boys as well. You've watched a lot of boys as well.
Mhm.
So, I know you're incredibly passionate, like you said, about shifting and have one awareness, right? And then two, making a different, better decision for what this child needs now, not what someone before told you how parenting needs to be. It's like,
Yeah.
what does the kid need? Like, let's
And
focus on
and
that.
it's also assuring the family that the parents, that it's okay. It's completely okay
Yeah.
for your, to be handling things differently. It doesn't
Yes.
have to be by what you know, or whatever, whatever feels right. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And what feels right for one family is going to look totally different
Oh,
for another family.
absolutely.
And
Yes.
so don't worry about that judgment either,
Yes.
because what's going to work for these people down the street is not going to work for the house over here, because the
Right.
kids have different needs and
Right.
different
Yeah.
they're interested in different things, the way
Yeah.
they relate
Exactly.
to
There's
people
no
in
one size
school.
fits all for parenting at all, or
Yeah.
raising children, or feelings or emotions. None.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us how, if somebody wanted to book with you, what would a session look like? Are you doing virtual? Are you doing in person? Like how what does that look like if someone were to book with
Um,
you?
Okay, well, my sessions have been completely virtual since
Okay.
the pandemic. Um, I do have a few sessions that I do. Um, Once the numbers calm down here, though, completely
Okay.
doing in person with families. Usually, we don't. I try to keep it very casual, especially if there's the kids. Like we go to a park, or something comfortable for the kids. I want to see also how they explore and how they express themselves, being out in the open and around other children, and see how that goes. So it's very casual, nothing, too much. And then we go by observations, and I don't we sit and talk to the parents, and I sit and talk with them about what I observed and what they feel, and then we come to um like kind of an understanding, like a lot of aha moments for them, like, wow, I didn't even realize I was doing this. And you know,
And for the kid, do they have to be sitting in a chair the whole time for you to
not
do
at all.
Reiki? So
No.
that looks different, huh, than some of the adult sessions. Like a kid could just be playing or
Right.
doing something on their iPad or watching a
Yeah.
show, and you could
Right.
already be doing Reiki on them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They most of the kids are very comfortable. They don't Reiki for them around the kids that I've been around, it seems to be a lot so much calming.
Yeah. They just feel more
Um
relaxed.
mhm,
Probably some of them
absolutely.
sleep after because they're
Yeah,
just
like
very
they're so
relaxed.
like they get so like they could be like out of control, and then once they experience the Reiki, it's like they get like drawn to it, and it's like they're very calm, and like you said, just they get very tired afterwards.
Yeah. Go and rest now.
Right. Yeah, and it's nothing like it
It's like
doesn't make them
peaceful.
feel like yes, and it doesn't the way I do it is I don't make them feel like okay, like like people have this vision of like therapy. You're sitting down and
Yeah,
light.
yeah.
It's
No,
completely not
it's
like
their
that.
own
Uh-huh.
environment. It's them doing what they would naturally do. And like you said, you more observing. And then when it's time to send energy, because you can even send energy when you're holding someone's hand.
Yeah,
You
and
can
I
send
do that
energy
a lot. Like,
across
and the
the
kids love
room.
it. I just either because they could feel it and they like putting their hands in my hands and
Yeah.
feeling it flow, and it's a great feeling to have the kids like be so excited and like want to hold hands and think some of the parents like God they never want to even do that with me. You
Mhm.
know, um, it's just to learn different approaches to how to deal with their child and better ways to deal with their child versus just yelling and threatening with like you want spanking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just yeah, a different way just to understand.
Yeah. And I guess just tell us just a little bit more about your background. For someone who doesn't know anything about you, just tell us a little bit more about how you grew up or your background.
I shared a little bit about that. My background is that I am a first generation Filipino. Both my parents were born in the Philippines and immigrated to Hawaii. I am the oldest of three girls, and I have some college background, and I also work extensively with you with Holomua.
Hmm.
Um, I'm also involved with High Vibrational Child. I'm a board member with High Vibrational Child. I'm a board member with Perpetuate Hawaiian Culture,
Hmm.
and both things I'm very passionate about. Being that Hawaii is my home, this is the only place I've been born, and although I am not Hawaiian by any means, but Hawaii is home, and I'm very passionate about the place and people that are here and their culture. So I'm very, very happy to be involved with that. I am also a doTERRA wellness advocate,
Hmm.
and I believe in holistic healing. That's why I love and sell out Reiki. And doTERRA has all these natural products that aid and help. And a lot of the oils that I use during my sessions are doTERRA products. And let's see, I'm also a content creator on YouTube.
Hmm.
Um, I actually have a YouTube channel, and it is about traveling and being in a casino and gaming. And it's been a crazy ride for that, but I'm enjoy something I'm passionate about. Never dreamt in a million years that I would be traveling for work and
Yeah.
being able to make money doing it. So it's been good ever since I've experienced Reiki. It's really helped me develop as a person, and I feel much more comfortable with exploring my avenues and my comforts and being living out my passions
Yeah.
and everything that I do. I've been married for 17 years. I have an amazing spouse. He supports everything that I do. In our spare time, we love to travel together. We love to go to the ocean, whether it's just to get into the water, paddleboard, fishing. Um, we love anything that has to do with the ocean, and we're both very passionate about children and having them develop and learn more about themselves and their feelings.
Is there any advice you could give someone who was in your position 5 years ago and was thinking about, oh, I really think I want to try Reiki now, but I'm not sure on what that looks like, or I'm nervous, but I know I need help. There's a lot of people out there that have anxiety or they feel depressed or confused about what's next in life and their job or their relationships, what's the best advice you could give someone in that position?
It's something you have to feel. And I was honestly, I wasn't afraid. When I went into a therapist's office, I was a little afraid,
Mm,
apprehensive. I was afraid of what this could mean, what it would look like. And again, that thing was going through my head, like, what is my family gonna think? What are my friends gonna think? Here I am trying to get therapy and get my head right. And I wasn't comfortable with that. But Reiki was completely different. Walking into your office, it was inviting. It was such a calming space, and just being able to talk. And like most people are afraid, like, how do I talk to somebody I just meet, and how do I
yeah.
open up about stuff? But I think for me, it was knowing that you don't know anything about me, so why hold it back?
Yeah, no judgment. And
Yeah, there's
I
no
think,
judgment. You don't know anything like
yeah.
about me. I'm just gonna speak it. And you were excellent at that, not showing any judgment, and allowed me to speak freely. And this is something I haven't done in years, ever, if
And
anything.
I think you do the same. I think you do the same for people. I think I've talked to people who've come out of your sessions and they feel really safe to open up and you hold space for them. And I think that's what people are craving in the world right now is just like
Non-judgment.
someone who is not going to judge, someone who has the capacity to deal with all the range of emotions that could come up for that person in the session. Because I actually was talking to somebody the other day and they're like, you can handle my emotions. And I was like, yes. And then they're like, I haven't had anyone who could handle me,
Exactly.
bring up all of my emotions. And then I asked her, I said, okay, so when's the last time you remember, someone who couldn't handle your emotions? What happened? And she said they walked out of the room when I started opening up, and not in a session, but, you know,
Just
that
not
really
ever.
reminds me of like us just being able to hold space and like this very safe, non-judgmental place. Like the world needs more of that right now. They just don't have
Absolutely.
anyone they can go and talk to. And when you're being honest with yourself, then the aha moments come. Like we don't even have to say much. Sometimes they just arrive at their own answers in life coaching just by talking.
Right.
And they're, oh, I
They're like,
never
I
thought
really
of
need to
that.
do more of these. And it's like,
Yeah.
yes, you should.
Yeah. Like they come up with their own answers and we don't have to talk that much, but it's just literally the energetic space that we're holding that's like boom,
Know that
oh,
they
I
can
never thought of
speak
it.
and not have to worry about what I think,
Yeah.
or how is it, or like, or
How are
I'm
you
gonna
going to
be mad
perceive
at them.
them? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
What are the
yeah,
repercussions for saying this? Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the power in the life coaching. And it's just like shifting, like seeing something from a different angle and going, I never thought of it that way. Or I never asked myself these questions. These are great questions that my life coach is asking me.
yes,
So yeah, I'm really excited for more people to work with you. And like you said, you do virtual or in-person sessions. I know with the state of the world right now, it might look a little bit more like virtual. But yes, the best way, I really want them to reach out to you via your contact form. And I know you get back to them right away, whether you're in Hawaii or in California or in Nevada, you'll get back to them
absolutely.
and set up a schedule or a session with them. So yes, thank you so much. And I hope people take the plunge like you did, and I hope they invest in themselves. Yeah.
Awesome. Yes,
Any last words from you?
exactly what you just said, to invest in themselves. And that's exactly what I felt when I invested it in my Reiki session with you.
Mhm.
And ever since then, I've been on the healing journey, and I love it, every single minute of it. And I love being able to help other people experience what I've experienced, and to become um, aware of all their emotions and feelings, and feeling okay moving forward.